I don't believe what I just saw.
This is one of the great moments in the history of baseball.
You believe in miracles? Yes!
Is this the dagger?
Hello, everyone, and welcome to This Day in Sports, the podcast that picks a random calendar day, uses some spotty research, and revisits that day's sports events history through the years. We'll talk about some of the significance of those events, and we're basically sort of the opposite of hot takes. Is that a good summary?
Yeah, sure. Do you want notes on your intro, or are we going to go with that intro?
Energy?
Yeah.
It sounded like a funeral.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. We remember
Today,
the podcast we tried to do.
It's a very somber
Driving
occasion.
home at
November
2
20th is a
a.m.
dark day.
My God.
We're after a good... So you want me to go again?
Yeah, that was
All right.
yeah.
All right, I'll be more chipper. Is that what we're saying?
Yeah, I mean,
Hello, everyone, welcome.
Go against your natural instinct.
Okay. Good. Hello, everyone. No, that's wrong. The other way. Hello, everyone, and welcome to This Day in Sports, the podcast that picks a random calendar day, uses some spotty research, and revisits that day's sports history through the years. We'll talk about some of the significance of some of those events historically. Basically, we're the opposite of hot takes. I'm your co-host, Mike Shera. I would like to hand the mic over to our other co-hosts.
Sure, yeah. I'm Sandy Jobin Bevins.
I didn't actually hand
Mike,
it to you.
it actually was a great intro.
Better than the first one.
Well, they may not hear the first one, but it was very somber. And
Yeah,
that one,
that'll be included later.
it just you went from a funeral to a party pretty quickly. What do you say, Matt?
I enjoyed it. I'm Matt Kippen, and I really liked the second intro. The first one scared me a bit, but I think we're off to a good start now.
Okay, in fairness, it's early in the morning.
Yeah. Is it?
Well,
10:53.
relatively.
Oh my God.
Okay, before people stop listening already,
Yeah.
let's go. So what we're going to do is we'll just take turns calling out an event that happened on November the 20th. Sandy, why don't you go first?
November 20th.
Yes, you're
Okay.
going to give me lots of tips.
No, first. Okay, perfect. November 20th, 1934, Toronto Maple Leafs winger Busher Jackson becomes the first player in NHL history to score 4 goals in one period of a game. The Leafs were playing the St. Louis Eagles that night at the St. Louis Arena. Wow. St. Louis Eagles.
What year is that?
1934. The St. Louis Eagles. Yeah. I mean,
One of history's great teams.
yeah. I don't even know if they became another team or they just died.
I think they just died. But because that's not an original 6 team, I'm fairly sure.
No, definitely not. And that's 4 goals in one period. And that's been done since then about 6 times, I think. Twice in playoff history, by the way. Tim Kerr and Mario Lemieux did it in the playoffs. 4 goals in one period.
He was pretty good.
Yeah.
Kippen?
All right, I'm going to go right for a big one here. I'm going to go to the play, 1982, November 20th. So it's a 40th year anniversary right now.
That's right. I didn't say what day we're doing, did I?
You did.
Did I?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Professional.
No, I'm done. That's all.
That was
You definitely said November 20th.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So this is the infamous game-winning kickoff return through the marching band by the California Golden Bears against the Stanford Cardinal. If you remember, it was late field goal, put Stanford up 20-19 with 4 seconds left. They kicked it off due to confusion. I think Cal took the field with only 10 men, one short of the regulation 11, but still legal. And there were 5
laterals, yeah.
5 laterals on the play. Kevin Moen received the kickoff, and he was actually the one to score as well. He got the last lateral and burst into the marching band there, crashing into trombonist. Where is this guy's name? Gary Terrell.
Well, that's heavy research.
Those are the kind of details you're going to come back to this podcast for.
Oh,
we know the name of the trombonist.
Like, that could be someone listening
spiked.
to this. Somebody listening to this could win $1 million because someone on some dumb contest goes, "You'll never get this one."
Yeah.
Who's the trombonist that he crashed
Well,
into?
hold on there.
We are also a public
This
service.
trombonist actually became friends with Moen and Cal coach Joe Kapp, and he appeared on The Tonight Show with the key Cal players shortly after the play. So, his smashed trombone is now displayed in the College Football Hall of Fame.
In Atlanta, Georgia. That's where the College Football Hall of Fame is. Yeah.
Drive safely, everybody.
Yes.
In Atlanta, Georgia.
No, because I went to the Hall of Fame, and when I walked in that particular year, the first jersey you saw was Mayfield's jersey.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because it was just after he got drafted,
Right,
I guess.
right.
But it was like the big deal. When you first go into that Hall of Fame, side note, you go in and they have a giant wall of all the college football helmets, and you are immediately asked to choose your team. So I didn't really have one, so I said Auburn just for fun. And I said Auburn, and when you say Auburn, all of a sudden on the wall, your helmet lights up. And then you get a tag that says your name and what school you love. So everyone's going around, all right, Auburn, huh? And I'm like,
Yeah.
just randomly picked that, man.
Yeah, that's right. Bo Jackson.
But well worth visiting. Well worth visiting.
Did you see the trombone?
Good thing you didn't say
I did see the trombone. I've forgotten all about it until you said it, but I saw the trombone, and I had it's a great. Hey, listen, you can go on that. You can go there and kick field goals, throw passes, all that stuff down. There's a little field in there. You'd love it, Matt.
And do you remember who the Stanford QB was for this game?
I believe that was John Elway.
That was John Elway.
Yes.
his last college game, right?
Regular season game, yes.
Right. There you go. Yeah.
And then what happened to him?
just fell off the earth, right? Disappeared.
He also
and his
became
big teeth.
friends with Moen and
Yeah.
went on the Tonight Show. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
That was like the most famous viral sports clip of the 80s, I think. Like
The band on the field?
Yeah, no, yeah, that whole thing. Like, remember they would play that on the George Michael sports machine like all the
Yeah.
time. Like that would be like
With wacky
It
music.
was classic.
Well, there was the audio clip. The band is on the field.
Yeah. All right. That's enough, Matt.
November 20th. The band was on the field.
The band was on the field.
There's a book coming out about this.
Okay.
Published just this month.
Called
5 Laterals and a Trombone, Cal, Stanford, and the Wildest Finish in College Football History by Tyler Bridges.
5 laterals and a trombone.
5 laterals and a trombone.
Now, how much does it cost in Vegas to get 5 laterals and a trombone?
Seriously.
At the what's it called? The
I had a friend who got that. I wouldn't recommend it.
wow.
Yeah.
Sounds expensive.
Okay, let's move on from that one. Okay.
Great idea.
More recently, 2009, 25-year-old Tim Lincecum of San Francisco becomes just the 8th pitcher in MLB history to win back-to-back Cy Young Awards. A first-round pick in 2006 out of Washington, the Freak, as he was known, won the Cy in each of his first 2 full MLB seasons, which probably puts him in even rarer company, I would think. He won 33 games and struck out 526 batters between 08 and 09. He finished top 10 in Cy Young voting in 10 and 11 and never got another vote after that and was retired by age 32.
That's crazy. Retired by 13. Now, we're going to get into some Cy Young stuff later on
Yes.
in the show.
Teaser.
Thank you.
Yeah.
But now, who are the others that are back-to-back? Because it's very rare. Do you remember that one?
Who's won back-to-back?
Koufax,
off
for
the
sure.
top of my head.
Koufax, for sure.
Yeah.
65, 66.
Randy Johnson.
Randy Johnson,
Clemens.
yeah.
Steve Carlton.
Carlton did it, yeah.
Yeah. Maddux, of course, won 4 in a row.
Whoa. So that's
That might be it.
rarefied air for somebody.
That's right. Yeah, like there's not a lot of guys who've won 2. I think there's only a couple guys who have won 2 Cy Youngs total that aren't in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, yeah?
I think he's one of them.
Yeah.
Johan Santana, Saberhagen.
Yeah.
There's not many others, if any, who have
Yeah.
won 2 Cy Youngs
And not in the
that
Hall of
aren't
Fame.
like sort of pantheon pitchers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that is, as Sandy said, a kind of a teaser into our the second.
Later on.
Yeah, later on.
Well, I've got the list. Jacob deGrom.
Yeah, he's not Hall of Fame eligible yet.
Okay. Scherzer did it.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
Kershaw.
yeah,
Lincecum.
yeah,
Randy Johnson.
Yeah.
99 and
Arizona days.
2000.
yeah,
Pedro.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Clemens.
I think Lincecum always reminded me of the kid from Dazed and Confused.
Oh, absolutely.
The baseball pitcher, Dazed and Confused.
I always thought the Giants missed out by not giving him that as his nickname instead of the Freak. Because, Javon Curse had already been the Freak. I was like,
Yeah.
we don't need another Freak.
We have another Freak.
That should have been his nickname.
That's 20th so far. Any other hot things that happened on November 20th?
It's your turn, Sandy.
That's
So,
right. I was just setting myself up. All right, here we go. I'll take this one. Mike, this is maybe something you'd be interested in.
I doubt it.
In 1989, in a close vote, Milwaukee Brewers center fielder Robin Yount wins the American League MVP award for the second time. He won the first MVP 7 years earlier while playing shortstop. He is one of only a handful of players to win the MVP at 2 different positions. 4 other players each received at least 3 first-place votes, AL MVP votes that year. It was Ruben Sierra, Dennis Eckersley, Cal Ripken Jr., and George Bell. But 4 other players. Okay, so two different positions. Do you know that? Do anyone know that one? Who are the other players to win MVP at 2 different positions? There's another one. That's
off the top of my head, I don't know.
Yeah, that's another good one for our listeners out there.
Yeah.
We'll look it up.
Contact us.
We'll look it up.
Yeah. Call us on the hotline.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to point out.
Should we give out Matt's personal cell phone at this point?
Yeah.
That's the hotline, is it not?
That's 555.
Please text anytime.
So Yount won this MVP award. There was a lot of guys that were close about it. I just would like to point out, as part of my constant Canadian Toronto bias, anti-Toronto bias in voting, that Fred McGriff that year finished 6th in AL MVP voting that year, led the league in home runs, OPS, on-base percentage, had more than twice as many walks as all those guys that you just mentioned, and his team made the playoffs. And Fred McGriff was one of the few of those guys, was the only one who did not get a first place vote. And He had a higher WAR than all of those guys who you just mentioned.
And that might be something no one else cares about.
Yeah, like that is literally, that's the name of the segment. A thing no one else cares about.
Wow, there it is. Perfect.
A thing no one else cares about. But I'm going to grind that axe all through this podcast about like how.
Well, yeah, absolutely. There were certain stats in certain eras though that were like more important than anything else in MVP.
Clearly.
RBIs was huge. A lot. For an MVP, and then obviously Cy Young was wins. You used to only just concentrate on how many wins you got.
Well, yeah, that's what
and
cost.
Only a little bit cared.
Yeah, that's why Pete Vukovich won the Cy Young, not Dave Stieb. Right?
Yeah,
like this, they were obsessed with it.
And now this era is not about that at all. That's why guys like DeGrom can win a Cy Young now, because you don't have to win a lot of games.
Yeah, Felix Hernandez, same thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, that's just one of those votes that you look back on and go, that could have been like Fred McGriff, who also I think doesn't get enough consideration for the Hall of Fame too. Mm-hmm. That if he, say, for example, if he wins that MVP that year, his MVP case likely looks different.
To get in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Or his Hall of Fame case.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Matt,
are you up for number?
Matt, are you
20th?
awake? Or
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I'm just reading about trombones here online.
Great.
You don't want to see what's happening.
Well, why don't we talk about
Sad
1928?
Going back.
November 20th, the Boston Bruins play their first game in Boston Garden.
The Garden.
So, that's a
1928.
1928.
Yes. And in perfect form, they lose to the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah, like
setting a precedent that would continue.
1-0 loss.
Yes.
The capacity was supposed to be 15,000 for the game, but like 17,000 forced their way into the building.
That doesn't sound like Boston.
The game had to start 25 minutes late, and Montreal defenseman Silvio Mantha scored the only goal in the second period.
Sil Mantha.
His name was Manter, but in Boston it was Mantha.
Mantha.
And
is his name Manter?
No, I don't know. No, I don't think that's right. But
Sandy has literally done no research. He doesn't know any of this.
I just make Boston jokes.
That's why he's here.
But isn't it in 1928? If you were to tell that story though slowly and just sort of said 1928, there were supposed to be 16,000, but 17,000. There's definitely, you were thinking that's going to end in a fire that kills 1,000 people.
Yeah, that would be the next sentence.
Yeah, it's kind of like Jaws. Like 17,000 went in, 16,000 came out.
Well,
1,000 were killed in the fire.
Especially when
due to rushed construction.
Boston actually put the puck in the net, so they scored in the third, but the ref ruled that the pass was offside.
Whoa.
So the crowd went a bit wild.
In Boston?
In Boston.
Yeah. No replay back then, eh, Matt?
What's that?
No replay back then.
No replay.
I don't think so, no.
Though I think it was pretty obviously offside.
Okay.
From the report in the paper the next day.
the sketch in the paper the next day?
The way they drew it, like the series of cartoons, it was in the high and lows.
High and lows. 1928.
It's like a court stenographer. They have a guy drawing.
They hadn't met yet, high and lows.
Okay. They were single. Their own thing.
Apparently a storm of paper and refuse descended on the ice. And the crowd threw everything they could get their hands on, including a pack of cards.
Whoa. A pack of cards? That's like...
It made the newspaper.
That's over the line.
I would say in 1928, throwing a pack of cards on the ice is like throwing your TV on the ice.
Yeah.
That's your form of entertainment.
Yeah.
And you just threw it on the ice.
That's rockstar, like, badass.
Were you alluding that High and Lois were two different cartoons at that time and then they met later?
No, aren't they people?
Yeah, there are a couple, but I thought you were saying it's so far back. But then 1928, in the paper, there was a high cartoon and there was a lowest cartoon. And then
that-
they met, and
maybe
now
that
they're high and
happened.
lowest.
Maybe like the illustrators.
Oh,
They met in real life too,
okay.
and sort of
This is great.
and like had a romance
Yeah.
or just like a friendship.
I think they're definitely married now, though.
Probably. Things that end up that way.
I'll research that while I research the two different positions.
The
in
Boston
MVP.
Garden, by the way, notoriously short too when it was built, right? Like 191 feet long or something. Instead of the NHL wasn't building cookie cutter arenas back then, but it was like notoriously sort of small ice surface too.
Yeah,
right?
the NHL didn't have a standard size for rinks at the time, so they just built it how they wanted it to be. So
Bobby
it
Orr
like-
was closing in on you even quicker.
There was like 2 Dunkin' Donuts, and they didn't have quite enough space. The Dunkin' Donuts took the extra 9 feet.
But
You don't take out a Dunkin' Donuts in
gotta get that in
Massachusetts.
there,
Yeah.
please, someone change the subject.
Okay, let's do one more. Who's got one? Let's
I got
give you Mike.
something.
Okay, go.
Nobody
please.
cares about.
Okay, let's do it. Yeah, please.
Here's
So
the thing
I'm
no one
reading.
cares
I'm
about.
reading about this this Gardens game, the first Gardens game, hockey game that is, in the paper the next day, and I noticed there was also a Maple Leafs game that night. The Leafs lost to the Senators 4-1.
Okay.
But what caught my eye was that Ottawa surprises 4-1 victory over the Leafs. But the Senators got a jump on the strong Toronto team that was left with 2 men against 6. So what happened is a unique situation where 4 Leafs were ruled off for various infractions, and only center Andy Blair was forward of goalie Lorne Chabot.
What?
So they sent off 4 players
For penalties.
for penalties. And apparently it was just one guy in front of the goalie, like one Toronto player in front of the goalie.
Sort of like a Hunger Games style hockey play.
I didn't think you could do that.
No,
You can't do it now.
I've never heard of that.
That's incredible, though, that you could be
That is
5-on-1, and then, oh my God.
that is fire wagon hockey.
I mean, it was 1928, right?
say,
So
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's the same year high and lowest were single. But that's crazy. Oh my gosh. I can't even imagine that now. I kind of wish we had that rule, though, now, where it's like, hey, we're just down to goalies. All 5 of your guys are out.
you keep getting
Pandemonium.
penalties. You keep sending them off.
Why do we have a restriction on that?
I have one that's kind of interesting. In 1999, in a game against the Seattle Supersonics, Houston Rockets center Hakeem the Dream Olajuwon records his 2,000th career steal, and he becomes the first player in NBA history to have 2,000 blocks and 2,000 steals.
Yeah.
And I believe he remains the only player in NBA history to reach those 2 milestones. He is the all-time leader in block shots in NBA history with over 3,600, and he's currently 10th all-time in steals, but LeBron is going to pass him almost at any point. He'll fall out of the top 10 then, but he's the only guy ever to do that.
My guess is that other than him in the top 10, there's no other centers.
In steals?
In
No,
steals, no way.
it's all little guys, yeah.
No way. That's an incredible. I didn't know that.
Testament to how special a player he was, yeah.
Yeah. I think he's an all-time Raptor, right? I mean, he's one of the greatest Raptors.
You got to put him in your starting 5, yeah. He is on the Mount Rushmore, as it were.
I remember once being at a Raptors game and they had a T-shirt toss, and I shouldn't say never. I rarely get a T-shirt, and the
I
T-shirt.
find that surprising. Like, you're a tall guy.
I've gotten a lot of baseballs and some. No, but for whatever reason, I think because I'm more of a gentleman when it gets to the scramble. When everyone's scrambling, I don't get in there.
No. Okay.
But it went cleanly in my hands. I caught this T-shirt. I quickly took the elastic off, opened it up. It was an extra small Hakeem Olajuwon, and it was one of those kind of Andy Warhol, like where you have a picture that it's all like fluorescent, like crayon drawings all over it. One of the worst T-shirts. And I was like, I feel like I got to keep this though. And then my girlfriend at the time was like, you absolutely do not. And she just took it and threw it behind her to a bunch of kids. It was one of the worst. That's the only one of the few I've ever caught.
Yeah. Let me
You're
just
a gentleman
say,
in the
she was
scramble.
right.
I'm a gentleman in the scramble. That one cleanly went right in my hands.
It's the title of your
They
autobiography.
needed you in that Stanford game.
A
And
gentleman
that's
in the
right. That's right.
Do we have any other ones we want to? Any shout outs we want?
Well, if you guys both reveal the fact no one else cares about.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I should talk about Busher Jackson, who I brought up.
You did it already.
I talked about the number, but the thing about Busher Jackson.
Okay.
Beyond that,
I'm
not
going
sure
into deep
people
dive.
know much about Busher
okay.
Jackson.
No,
We're doing a deep
So
dive.
Busher
All right.
Jackson.
Yeah. We're yeah. What is this segment called? Before I give you the promo.
The things nobody else cares about is what it's called.
Things nobody else cares about.
What happens there? It's like a guy in a. It's What is that?
I don't know.
It's a guy trapped in a box?
It's me making a Foley-style sound effect from 1928 when Busher Jackson would have played.
It sounds like Bane.
Yeah.
All right, so
but
this
clearer.
is a thing only I care about. Mike, that's the segment. A thing only I care about.
A thing only I care about. What do you care about?
Okay.
The game begins.
So Busher Jackson, this is my remembrance of most of this. But what's interesting about him was he was on the kid line, which is a very famous hockey line back in the day. Scored a ton of goals, led the league in goals scored. But he was a absolute partier, basically. He was. They said he had Hollywood good looks. He had huge, fancy cars. Spent all his money. Became a giant alcoholic. But he was a man about town in Toronto. But he grew up very poor in Toronto. He learned to skate on a thing called Poverty Pond. That's an actual name. And
he did have great names back then.
He was I think he played for the Marlies, the Marlboros, as they would call them, and the full name there. And he worked his way up. Toronto kid, becomes a star in Toronto, but his first year he gets his nickname Busher because his equipment manager says, "Hey kid, pick up those sticks." He said, "I didn't come here to pick up sticks. I came here to score goals." And this equipment manager said, "Score goals, you're nothing but a busher." So that's why he'd be like a Bush League kid. So he became Busher Jackson.
Right.
But Conn Smythe, who's famously military guy, super straight edge, doesn't like drinking, any of that kind of stuff, tries to stop this and says to Busher, "You need to stop spending money, and here's what I'm going to do. Every dollar you save, I'm going to give you another dollar. So if you save $2,000 in the bank, I'm going to match that, have $4,000 in the bank." Busher couldn't do it. He tried, he couldn't do it. Spent all his money, retired, alcoholic, dies young, 55, I think. And so then they want to put him in the Hall of Fame, and Conn Smythe actively works to make sure he does not get in the Hall of Fame. Says you can't have a guy who's this type of person get into the Hall of Fame. So his two line mates get in the Hall of Fame, doesn't get in the Hall of Fame, dies, and then 5 years after he died, he got in the Hall of Fame. And that was because Conn Smythe blocked his entire entry into the Hall of Fame. Wow. Because he didn't want it, for moral reasons. Wow. Yeah. There's your fact. Maybe people cared about that. I said only I would care, but I think people actually do care about that.
So we have to change the name of the segment now?
We're going to change it to
Things people may care about.
Thank you very much. Our intro from Bane. Appreciate that.
Yeah, well, we're going to get some celebrities
Charlie
on this
Conacher and Joe Primu were the other two.
That's right. That was the kid line. Yeah. And all three are Hall of Famers now. But it was not until he died he got in the Hall of Fame.
Posthumously, right.
Yeah. Yeah. So okay, well, there we go. People actually may have cared about that.
We're getting a lot of emails and contacts about that one already.
The phone, Matt?
Yeah, the phone's ringing off the hook. Frank's handling all our calls.
Okay,
and it's
Frank Russo, of course, here working behind the scenes. Thank you, Frank. The only one who knows what he's doing is Frank
as you can tell if you're still listening.
Hey, we have birthdays on this day. Yeah. Should we do that now?
We can.
Okay, I'll throw one out there to get started.
Yeah.
This is a guy I can't stand.
Oh, good.
2-time NBA All-Star and Redeem Team Olympic gold medal winner Carlos Boozer. Can't stand him. It's his birthday on November 20th.
Okay, I will add to the can't stand the number 2 overall pick of the 97 MLB draft and the least popular MLB player in every town he ever played in, J.D. Drew. Terrific player. Oof. Nobody seemed to like that guy.
I mean, he is an absolute wiener, and but he should have just played his whole career in Philly.
Yeah,
because that's the town where wieners go. Hey, he was a Cardinal, right?
Yeah.
Also,
and a Red Sox.
Well, look at he basically went 3 for 3 on the teams that are trashiest, in my opinion.
Here's a birthday.
Things took a turn.
Steven Drew, though, probably also a dick.
No,
okay.
Relatively nice guy, I think. Kippen's got one.
Stanley Cup winner and 3-time 40-goal scorer John McClane.
Ominous silence.
Can we add cricket? Do you have cricket sound effects, Frank? We'll get those in post.
I don't think we need them. I think they actually happen.
John McClane. Now, that was Die Hard, right?
It was.
Yeah.
That's right. That guy was so prolific. Any other birthdays? 5-time Pro Bowl defensive end Mark Gastineau of the New York Sack Exchange for the Jets in the 80s there. Also, I believe a steroids guy.
He died young.
Yeah.
Mark Gastineau died young. But he did... What's her name? What's that woman's name that he was famously with?
Bridget Nielsen?
Bridget Nielsen.
Yeah, that's right.
He dated Bridget Nielsen.
Yeah. Good.
I was going to say the Dolph Lundgren of women.
Oh, no.
Maybe we may edit that out. The Dolph Lundgren of women.
Yeah, here she is. The Dolph Lundgren of women. Bridget Nielsen. Who also didn't she dated Flavor Flav? Remember the Flavor of Love?
Sure.
Come on.
And Sly Stallone.
And of course, Flavor Flav is the Otis Nixon of hip hop. So there we go.
Is there a
Otis Nixon
reference coming, or you just
the Otis Nixon of hip hop is Flavor Flav?
Okay.
And the
Flavor Flav of baseball is Otis Nixon.
Yes, there we go. Goes both ways.
Okay.
Goes both ways.
And
if you're from Canada, the Otis Nixon of Much Music hosts is anybody? Think about that one.
I can't think about anything else.
You'll get to it. All right. I got one here. Yeah. Birthday. 8th overall pick in the 1995 NFL draft, Joey Galloway. That guy was great.
Yeah.
The Seahawks.
Yeah.
Man, I really like Joey Galloway. I've known Matt a long time. He knows I went all in on Joey Galloway.
You know, I looked up, he only played on his birthday once in 2005.
How'd it go?
He failed to record a catch.
Whoa!
5 targets.
Also, interesting fact about Joey Galloway, over 10,000 career receiving yards, no Pro Bowl appearances.
I didn't know that.
Never played in a Pro Bowl, never was All-Pro, nothing. Like, really? He just never, I guess he played in an era when there was a lot of really good receivers, obviously.
Yeah, 1995, sure.
Yeah, but never once. And finished 3rd in Rookie of the Year voting that year when he was a rookie, too.
The Otis Nixon of
I don't.
Much Music.
Please explain
BJ's.
this.
Master T. Come on, guys. Master T.
I'm uncomfortable with like the
Okay, we're gonna edit all this out.
Yeah,
I guess.
okay.
I don't know. I'm not so uncomfortable with the Dolph Lundgren of women.
No, the Dolph Lundgren of women stays. That's gold. We're gonna put that in the highlight.
Let's do one more birthday, and then you should move on.
Get the hell out of here.
Let's move on. This we get November 20th. Here we go. Here's one for everybody who's a Expos fan. Rick Monday, number 1 overall pick of the 1965 MLB draft. Rick Monday. That was 1981, wasn't it? Rick Monday,
Yep.
Blue Monday, off Steve Rogers.
Yep.
Yeah, they brought him in. That was just what
It's
a
only
nightmare.
spoken of in hushed tones throughout Montreal.
Yeah, I remember I was in French class and they wheeled in the TV to watch the end of that, and that was a nightmare.
Where was that? In Winnipeg?
That's in Georgetown,
Georgetown,
Ontario.
yeah.
Home of the Georgetown Raiders. All right. If you get a chance to head down to the Alcott Arena and check out the Georgetown Raiders.
Okay. Please do. Please do.
Now, John Tonelli played for the Georgetown Raiders. You're an Islanders fan.
Yeah.
And but now the John Tonelli Arena
That's what it's called?
isn't that in Milton? Is in Milton.
Is it? Oh.
That's right. And,
So it's not.
But he did play for the Raiders. But the John Tonelli Arena is in. And here's the thing. His sister-in-law, Sandra Tonelli, was my grade 5 teacher. And if you had a good enough grade, you got a John Tonelli autographed picture. I never got one.
Wow.
Yep, that's a true story.
It's probably more attitude-based than anything.
Yeah. And if you want to go deep dive on this, I can, but I won't.
Okay.
All right. Nobody wanted
that.
it.
That wasn't the deep
No,
dive?
well,
Like,
you know,
that was the edited version?
Ron McLean, in his book, talks about a car accident he had. I think it was just outside of Oakville, and he smashed into Sandra Tonelli. And then he went to the Georgetown Hospital for his recovery, but he was mystified that he hit a relative of John Tonelli. That's a deep dive in the Ron McLean book.
It is.
Which is called, Matt? No idea.
It's called Matt, no idea.
I can't actually remember
It's
either.
on the bookshelf. It's on the bedside table.
Yeah.
Waiting to dig
You
into
never
that
put
one.
that down.
I would read it. I'm sorry. I haven't read that one.
I found 2 things that happened in 1993 that are quickly interesting. In 1993, number 17 Boston College upsets number 1 Notre Dame 41-39 in South Bend to win in the Holy War for the first time ever. It cost Lou Holtz's team an undefeated season and national championship. Boston College, as you know, not really a football powerhouse most of the time, so that was like a pretty big upset. And in 1993, on the same day, Shaquille O'Neal of the Orlando Magic recorded an incredible triple-double, scoring 24 points, grabbing 28 rebounds, and blocking 15 shots in the same game. He even had 3 assists in that game, and the 15 blocks is O'Neal's career high, and just too short of the NBA single-game record held by
Hakeem Olajuwon.
No.
Manute Bol.
We're talking a lot about block shots. Elmore Smith.
Elmore Smith.
He was just about
Elmore
to say
Smith.
It.
Gosh,
Elmore
that's a hard one.
Smith.
And then, of course, when Elmore Smith blocked all the shots, the other 4 guys have been sent off.
Yeah.
So he just stood
He
there
was
blocking shots.
playing for the Ottawa Senators at the time.
Just blocking
People
shots.
don't realize, yeah.
Yeah.
I
I feel like Elmore Smith, I don't know him,
No, you don't.
but is he one of those guys like Manute Bol who blocked 15 shots and scored 0 points?
It's entirely likely.
Probably.
17 blocks in a game.
You got to be tall.
Do you want to do that CFL thing we had?
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Matt's got an interesting little tidbit here.
Okay.
Too. Sandy.
It's also November 20th?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
Sandy's going to have a story about a car accident involving this, too.
Okay.
It's amazing.
Great.
All right. So in 1909, Jack Williams of the CFL, that's the Canadian Football League's Ottawa Rough Riders, kicked 9 singles in a game. 9 singles, or rouge, if you prefer.
Again.
What was the final score? 9-0?
You know,
No. For our American friends, Matt and I were trying to figure this out ahead of time. What is a rouge?
so
A rouge
yeah,
is unique to the CFL game.
Yes.
it is. Sandy,
I believe a rouge is when you miss a field goal and the other team catches the ball and takes a knee in the end zone.
And the team who catches the ball gets a point.
Yeah.
well, it's when the ball is kicked or goes in the end zone by any legal means other than a convert, I think.
Yeah.
Or successful field goal. So if you got an interception and took a knee, you wouldn't get a single, or the other team wouldn't get a single.
No.
So this guy set a record, but it was a bad record. 9 singles is not good because he gave the other team 9 points.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was also broken the next year by Ben Simpson.
Yeah,
who
everybody
now
knows,
holds the record
everybody
with
knows
Hamilton.
that.
He had 11
No,
in
I know.
1910.
11?
Yeah, I've seen
11 singles, not on November
I've seen the
12th.
etchings of that one, too.
I'm-
It's amazing.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's that if you miss a field goal, because if you miss a field goal in the CFL, the other team could run it back, right?
Yeah, if they
Yes.
don't, then
Then you get a point,
rouge, right?
And then they take a knee. They take a knee in the end zone, and then you, as the team who kicked it, gets a point. You kick it.
Yeah.
You miss the field goal. Defense gets the ball, kneels, 1 point to the kicker.
Yes.
So 9 times he missed field goals.
Frank, do you feel confident about that?
Really? So the team that kicks it gets a point, isn't it? Like
Well, because they could, instead of doing that, run it back for a touchdown.
Right.
So I guess you're giving it up. That's my understanding of a rouge.
It's also awarded like if a kick, excluding kickoffs, if a kick goes out of bounds without being touched, like out
Okay.
of bounds of the end zone, sorry,
Okay.
without being touched, you get a single,
Okay.
but not on a kickoff.
Okay. There's a lot of this may be wrong.
We
Yeah.
may be wrong. We may be totally wrong.
Yeah.
I preface the intro with, spotty research. So I think
Yeah, that's fair.
we're off the hook with all this.
We'll just.
Most of these things didn't actually happen on November 20th.
I hope to God they did.
You know
At
something
least
that
we can
did
have
happen on November 20th?
Oh, here we go.
Here we
Thank
go.
you.
So in 2009, you had the theatrical release nationwide, like for all of U.S. and Canada, of the movie The Blind Side,
Oh, Michael.
Come on.
based on Michael Lewis's The
Michael.
Blind Side Evolution of a Game, about Michael Orr.
Michael Orr. Is Michael Orr still playing? Last I checked, he was Ravens, but
I think he's retired now.
okay.
You know what's significant about this is it's Mike and I saw this movie together.
Really?
Remember that, Mike?
I don't want to talk about it.
You guys went and saw
We went and
Blind
saw
Side
this movie together, first time ever.
Kippen loves laughing at this because
We,
Carla
uh,
brought snacks.
I look over at some
My
point
wife
in the movie.
brought snacks.
Mike's got a sandwich, like a homemade sandwich.
No. This-
And
that's not true.
I thought, okay, resourceful, pretty good. Look over a little while later, got a banana, a 2-course meal.
Oh my God. What'd you get?
I had nothing. I got blindsided by
You got
by a sandwich
blindsided.
and a banana.
You know who blindsided you? Michael.
Part of that's true. Part
Michael.
of that is. My wife has a lot of food allergies, so we have to kind of pack ahead.
Yeah, that's
Popcorn?
true. I didn't consider
Probably.
that. I thought it was
Yeah.
resourceful. I was just,
You like to?
I thought it was interesting.
You got
That made the
blindsided.
movie more memorable than it would have been otherwise. Am I right?
Probably, yeah.
Do we have any other November 20th items we'd like to bring up before we move on to the next part of this?
I think that's lots.
It's lots.
I mean-
I'm just making sure we haven't. Sandy may have some stories about car accidents or something about.
Okay.
In 1988, the Blackhawks retired the numbers of goalies Glenn Hall and Tony Esposito in a pregame ceremony at Chicago Stadium. Those are 2 guys who won a combined 5 Vezina trophies between them. And ironically enough, that game, the Blackhawks with legendary goalie Darren Pang in net
Yeah.
lost to Vancouver 7-4.
Panger.
The
Blackhawks.
Panger not showing Vezina winning form on that night,
No.
allowing the Canucks 7 goals.
Pang's just a better color
analyst,
man
yeah.
analyst than he
That's
is
right.
ever as a goalie.
Hey,
Yeah.
In 1990, the Kings defeated the Washington Bullets 87-82 in front of just over 6,000 fans in DC's Capitol Center. It was Sacramento's only road win of the 90-91 season, and it was their last road win for over a year.
Wow.
Which is
horrible.
You know, you're setting some precedents there. I looked this up, and that Sacramento team had 3 rookies starting for it, none of whom I've really ever heard of a whole lot. Like, they were like, we're going to go with these 3 rookies, and all 3 of them, you're like, oh, these are first-round picks, guys you put a lot of stock in, and they're...
Nobody's.
Like Lionel Simmons, Dwayne Coswell, and Travis Mays.
Wow.
3 first-round picks of theirs that year. They decided, we're going to roll with rookies, and we're going with these 3 guys. That's why they didn't win a road game.
I wish Carlos Boozer was on that team.
I think he might have been. That guy played a long time.
Yeah, but he also played for Duke, which is a problem.
That'll be another separate podcast. Anything else anybody wants to get in before we're done?
I don't think so. I'm excited about this next segment.
Okay.
Now, this next segment, we decided that we were going to do a draft on each episode.
Yes. Some
Some sort of draft, sort of a fantasy draft, sort of a what if or whatever draft. And it has different subject matter. And this does not relate to November 20th. This is just a fun thing. Because we talked about, this is kind of award season now. It's we're now into the time when we announce Gold Gloves, Silver Sluggers, MVPs, Manager of the Year, and of course, Cy Youngs.
Kippen's already hiding his notes from
both. Of course he is. Matt's never. Should be noted that when you go to a fantasy baseball draft with Matt in real life, he brings a magnifying glass and writes in a very small font so no one can read it.
And his own cubicle.
And also, he brings a fantasy baseball magazine that has Chase Utley on the cover, and it's about 7 years old, 8 years old?
2009.
2009, and he puts it on the table in case anyone wants to do any research to throw them off. This is all true. There's this one. So that we put a premise together, which was we want to draft a team. A rotation. We're going to draft a rotation
and a closer.
Yeah. So you have 5 guys and a closer to make your ultimate rotation of guys who never won a Cy Young award. Now, the Cy Young was first in 1956.
Yes.
And originally it was just for both leagues and one. So it was a Major League Cy Young. And then in the late 60s, it became National League and American League. So we've decided you can't pick a player who was prominent before 56. So a good example there, say a Robin Roberts. Yeah. Fantastic in the 50s up until about 1956. Then he starts to fall off into the 60s. Yes. Can't pick a guy like that.
Can't pick Walter Johnson.
See, thank you. There's another good example.
Cy Young.
Or Cy Young. So a lot of those we're just taking out completely before there's a Cy Young. So we're trying to figure out in our draft 5 guys who'd form your rotation, never won a Cy Young, and 1 closer. Now, can you pick that closer anywhere you want?
You get your sequence.
You just throw him in where you want.
And your rationale for this draft is whatever you like. You can pick a guy who had like 1 dynamite season and maybe should have won a Cy Young. Mm-hmm. You can pick a guy who like you think he's career, like whatever. Your rationale is your own. Is there anything else we should?
What's the order?
I don't know. And also, what's the title of this segment? Because we had some disagreements, or some we have several votes on.
Because it could be any sport.
Yeah. So we had some suggestions. What Matt wrote a few out.
I volunteered pick 6 because
we are picking 6.
It is a football,
but it might be might be a different number,
But it could be another time. You're right, exactly right. It could be. We're going to sit here and draft both offense and defense of your fantasy football team.
That's right. We'll be here for
a 4-hour podcast.
Yeah, settle in, folks.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, what are we going to call it?
Are you going to do that weird intro thing again? We do it?
Yeah, that's why I want to know. I'm going to do Bane's voice. And
what did you have, Matt? You're good.
Read them all, and then you can.
Where are they? I can't find them.
Right here.
Oh, okay. Here you go. You ready? Okay, I'm going to read them in the voice, and then you decide. Pick 6. Defend your picks. Cherry picking. Picking and screaming. And the imposter rosters.
This kind of sound like an old man.
I know. It didn't get as Baney that time. Anybody? All right. Well. We'll let the fans vote. Maybe I like cherry picking, but anyway, because we are sort of like, it's a weird category.
All right. Those titles again were Pick 6, Defend Your Picks, Cherry Picking, Picking and Screaming, The Imposter Rosters.
Yes. So, all right, because Kippen is already hiding his sheet from me, I'm going to let Matt go first.
Okay.
And make first overall pick of pitchers who never won a Cy Young award from the 50s on, like, 56. Nothing before 56.
Yeah. Like I brought up Robin Roberts, and I just wanted to point out, like in 1955, he won 23 games. He was 23-14, and almost certainly would have won the Cy Young that
You
year.
got to think, yeah.
And then after that, 2 years later, he was 10-22. So
Yeah.
that's how you can fall off.
I think he has the most. He's the most losses in MLB history.
Wow, 22. So
Yeah.
All right,
just to
well-
give an example. So that we're going to go 56 up. Matt's going to go first.
I think one's obvious, maybe not. 6 seasons with over 300 strikeouts, led the league in strikeouts 11 times, 383 strikeouts in one season. Nolan Ryan.
Yeah.
Never heard of him.
No, you've seen the recent Nolan Ryan documentary.
Yeah.
They do highlight that year that Jim Palmer won. Didn't Nolan Ryan have like 2 no-hitters that season or something like that? And he didn't win the Cy Young.
Yeah, I think it was like you said earlier. It's a wins thing too, right? Like he only won 15 games that year, but you're like, but he was clearly
Should have won the Cy Young.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Jim Palmer was a great pitcher. But
I mean, Nolan Ryan did have some walks.
yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, he has the most walks
the
in
most
Major League
walks,
history.
yeah.
And
All right.
also like lets everybody steal on him.
Yeah, he didn't really. Yeah, not so good with the base runners. Okay, Sandy's gonna go next.
Okay, I'll go next. Not a great human being, but I think I would definitely want him to be in a very tight game, like a Game 7 of World Series. I'm going to go with Curt Schilling.
Ooh.
Yeah, the numbers are there. He
they are.
was so close in Cy Young so many times, won so many key games for both the Phillies and the Red Sox. Again, I reiterate, not a great human being,
Yep.
but I hope to make up for that later on in the draft.
by picking nicer guys.
I'll
later.
pick nicer guys. Well, you probably couldn't get worse, but
mean,
I'll take it.
Schilling, by the way, second in the Cy Young vote in 01, 02, and 04.
Well, it's because teammate Randy Johnson was
Yeah.
sniping him there.
No
That's
kidding.
actually true. So I'm gonna go with Schilling. as
And
my first
also
pick.
Schilling 11-2 with a 2.2 ERA in the playoffs career.
That's it.
Like,
That's
that
why I
is-
want him.
That's lights out.
That's why I want him.
Okay, I'm gonna go slightly. I'm gonna try to get ahead of this. I am gonna take, in my opinion, the greatest postseason pitcher of all time. I'm gonna take Mariano Rivera
There's your
as my
closer.
closer.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
I think that writes itself.
Yep.
13 All-Star games, 652 saves, and a career ERA of .70 in 141 postseason innings.
Well,
That doesn't even sound right.
No.
So
he was
Rivera-
unhittable.
Yeah. So Rivera is my closer. I'm going to start with my closer. Kip and
Would you have taken him number 1 overall? I thought about that.
No, I was going to take Ryan, but some asshole did that ahead of time.
Yeah, I think it was Matt.
I don't remember who it was, but
It was definitely
Well,
Matt.
with Rivera gone, there's a couple of great
There's some
closers
spots.
left, so I'm going to go back to the starters and add a lefty, and I'm going Chris Sale.
Yeah, that's a good pick. If the guy could stay healthy.
Yeah.
From 2012 to 2018, he was just a monster and always in play for the Cy Young in that whole stretch there.
Not bad.
If he could just stay healthy, it's not impossible that he could win a Cy Young still.
Yeah.
I believe he has the record for career K per 9 rate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
And you know who else is close is Robbie Ray.
Robbie Ray. They both have like
Who I would-
11 point something.
Yeah, it's like career, like literally in the history of Major League Baseball. Anyway, okay, so
That's definitely, yeah. I think I almost said off the top of this, we could have done the parameter that you have to have at least one lefty, but
I think
we'll probably might get there anyway.
we can set that now.
We might get there anyway.
You have to have a lefty.
Oh, shit.
It's okay. You've only made one.
You
pick.
can't change
You got-
rules halfway through a draft with Matt Gibbon here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You do not do that.
you don't do that.
Even if you're like, we're going to switch tables, we're in trouble.
but he's fine. He's covered already. He's got his lefty.
Okay. All right. Okay. Fair enough. You know what? Because I'm looking at who I got here, and there's a lot that I'm kind of head to head on, but I'm not head to head on this guy. I'm taking my closer, Trevor Hoffman.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's going to be my closer.
Yeah.
I mean, look, you got Trevor Hoffman and you got Mariano Rivera right there. Those are two and classic walk-up songs. You got Rivera with
Yeah.
Enter Sandman and Hoffman with
Bells.
Hell's Bells. Yeah, Hell's Bells. So Hell's Bells,
All right.
Enter Sandman off the table. Trevor Hoffman is my closer.
Over 600 saves as well.
It's
yeah.
insane.
Not
His
too
numbers
shabby.
are absolutely insane.
Did you know he played shortstop in college?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he converted to a pitcher later. That changeup was ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. That's my guy. Trevor Hoffman's my closer.
Okay.
So Matt's now got free reign on closers.
Yeah, but
Anybody he wants.
he's I mean,
Matt, you pick him last because that's a
Yeah,
good
I'll pick him last.
strategy.
I got my
Oh,
number
okay,
2
Matt.
closer.
Okay, Matt.
Strategy. Okay, now I have to pick my number 1 starter still, so I'm gonna pick Juan Marichal.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
He's a 10-time All-Star. He got Cy Young votes only 1 year in his whole career, but he got MVP votes 7 different seasons. He led the NL in wins in 63 and 68. His career 243 and 142 with a 2.89 career ERA. He led the NL in innings pitched, and he only made 2 career playoff starts ever, but he's still one of the all-time greats.
Yeah, and like, why wouldn't you want that guy on your team?
Yeah.
I'm taking good people on my team.
I actually had him on my list as here's a
Unlike
good
others.
guy who could bounce back
That should
from
be our
Kurt
strategy
Schilling.
now, Matt, is screw Sandy.
Nice
Guys.
Well,
But,
and for one, like a lot of his best years were when they only gave out 1 Cy Young,
Yes.
right? For both leagues.
And interestingly enough, his teammate won the first National League only. Mike McCormick
That's
won
right.
for the Giants. And McCormick played for the Giants a while, and at Marshall, I think they were both in that team that lost to the Yankees in the McCovey-Richardson rip that Richardson caught.
I don't think anybody's going to draft Mike McCormick on there.
No one's going to draft Mike McCormick. I'm going to say that right now. He's definitely not on my list. Nope. But Marshall was just kind of like even that Giants team though, like they just
he's kind of the Kurt Schilling of his era, except a nicer person.
Well, one of the greatest leg kicks of all time, certainly.
Totally, yeah.
And of course, he also was part of that famous. They consider one of the greatest games of all time when Warren Spahn against Marshall. Yep. Ends in a 1-0 extra innings win when Mays takes Spahn deep for a solo shot. 1-0 final.
Yep.
Like the 14th, 15th inning, I can't remember.
Something like that, yeah. And they both pitched all 14 innings.
Pitched both. Whereas in 2022, if you've got no runs against you in the 5th inning, you're probably getting yanked.
Yeah.
Which it makes me absolutely insane.
This is being recorded the day after Game 6 of the World Series.
Note that. Well,
so that is a topical reference.
Yeah, the Wheeler taking him out makes no sense to me. But anyway, that was a great. That's just absolutely incredible. Like Juan Marshall, I say great pick.
Thanks.
Kippen,
your turn.
All right. I feel like I'm going recency bias here, but this is going to be based on one season. A season that had 326 strikeouts, 20 wins, a 2.5 ERA, and a 0.89 whip. And losing out to Verlander that year, I'm going with Garrett Cole.
Oh, okay. Garrett Cole. All right, that's good. Yeah, I got it going modern.
Yeah.
Is he looking that good now?
Well, like I say, this is based on that one
No, I'm
season.
just curious what people think.
No, I don't know. All I remember about this season is Manoah saying Garrett Cole, he's got something to say, he can hop out past the Audi sign.
Oh,
Remember when there was almost a bench incident between the Jays and the Yankees, and Garrett Cole kind of jumped out to rush Manoah and then went, oh, wait, maybe I won't do that.
I'm not going to do that.
Yeah,
Past
that's a bad decision. Anyway.
I feel like a controversial pick.
Yeah, it is. You could tell by this crickets.
I think he was on my list for
sure. How can you argue? Yeah.
Could have definitely done that.
He's pretty good. And he might, again, like Sandy said, he might still win 1 or 2 Cy Youngs too.
He's definitely in that running. Okay, you know what? I need to get a lefty.
Okay.
And I just like this guy, Jim Cott.
Oh yeah.
I'm going Jim Cott because great human being. So he has to.
So you're balancing out
Kurt Schilling. Yeah. Great announcer, great player, played forever. Mm-hmm. Mike? What did we find? We were looking at something, and it was in 1982. Was he with the Cardinals? Whatever team. I think in the very end of his career.
I don't know.
He pitched, and he became the last major leaguer to play both in the 50s and the 80s.
Oh wow.
I think that's Jim Cott. That's how long he pitched for.
Pretty cool.
And he definitely was he was great with the Twins. He was great with the White Sox.
Yes, he was. And also, Jim Cott, 16 Gold Glove awards.
Yeah. Yeah.
So your defense just tightened up on your
My
team.
D just tightened up.
Yeah. 16 Gold Gloves.
Because Schilling's not going to move that ass that fast. Actually, Schilling might have been a Gold Glove guy too.
I don't know.
I totally trashed him. We just know he's a bad human being.
That's right.
But yeah, Jim Cott is actually the opposite, who retired this year as an announcer. Jim Cott.
Yep.
Last with the Yankees, I guess. Okay.
Nice pick.
Thank you.
I need my number 2 starter now, so I'm going to take, just for sheer, because I love this, I'm going to take Don Sutton.
Oh, I had you taking someone else, so that's interesting.
Well,
okay.
I'm only, I'm doing this for entertainment value because I find it amazing that Don Sutton pitched in the major leagues when he was 78 years old. If you've ever seen footage of him, he's the oldest looking 35-year-old athlete I've ever seen. Yeah. He instantly looked like he was 70 years old on the mound for the Dodgers in the 80s. However, he was not, obviously, but 324 career wins, double-digit wins in each of his first 19 seasons. That's banana. I know wins are devalued now, but still, a 4-time All-Star, top 5 in Cy Young voting. Cy Young. 5 straight years. Hall of Fame, obviously. and 6-4 and 100 postseason innings with a 3.8 ERA. So he's my number 2 guy, and also a character guy and a great broadcaster.
So he was on that 82 Brewers team, was he
Yes,
not?
he was.
And he brought it. So did he come from the Dodgers in 81?
I would have to
I'm trying to remember because 81's and the Dodgers won the World Series. I'm wondering if I was trying to remember him in that. But you're right. He looked old,
like
fast.
as soon as like it was pretty astounding. He started the 82 season with Houston and was a mid-season trade acquisition.
I remember they got him and they thought, that's it. We got Sutton. We're gonna definitely win this thing.
So that's like a consistency pick almost. Like there was no one.
Yes, he pitched consistently for
Crazy
77 years in the major leagues.
Yeah.
I'm valuing that over your 1 year Garrett Cole guy.
I mean, I'm looking at pictures of him right now in 1982 with the Brewers, and it's gray curly hair.
And that's like he pitched another
And
6 years after that. Like,
he's 37 in that photo.
yeah, and he looks 67. It's amazing.
He played unfortunately he pitched with the Dodgers up until 81 when they won the World Series.
Right.
But he played on those great Dodgers teams in the 70s for sure. But I'm looking at the numbers are you're right. They're absolutely consistent with the Dodgers. Every year, double-digit wins, and no Cy Youngs.
Nope.
Holy cow.
Overshadowed by, just big-time pitchers at the time, finished 3rd or 4th a lot, but age discrimination.
That's right.
Frank. That's correct, Frank.
Pitched until he was 43.
Thank you for, he pitched against a lot, like Steve Carlton pitched in that era. Anyway. Kippen, what do you got next?
Started 40 games, by the way, Don Sutton. Started 40 games in 1974.
Yeah, that won't happen ever again.
Okay, Matt.
All right. Well, this guy didn't play on the greatest teams, and he probably should have won in 1984, but he was behind 2 relievers. This is Bert Blyleven.
The Dutchman. Yeah, that's a good pick.
Yeah, it is. Hall of Famer now?
Yep. And you know what? I think perhaps, his numbers are obviously good, but I think he's another one of those guys, kind of in that world of Jack Morris and that, where it's like the numbers may be okay, but if it's a big game, he wants to pitch. And Dave Parker in his book Cobra was like, he was just like, give me the fucking ball. Like, and he didn't want to get taken out of games. You know how you were never supposed to, like Gibson was pitching, you never went to the mound because you were so terrified that he was going to wring your neck for trying to take him out of a game. Blyleven was the same. That 79 Pirates team, big factor because he pitched big games and just did not want to get taken out.
Yeah.
And
I read the same story in Ron McLean's book.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow.
Did he get in a car accident with my grade 5 teacher?
Also, if we're doing a draft at some point of all-time curveballs, Bert Blyleven might be my first pick overall.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
Curveball was bananas. Okay, Sandy.
Well, here's what I'm going to throw a wild card in here, and I actually kind of thought maybe Mike Shera was going to pick this guy just for fun because he's a homer. I'm going with Dave Stieb. I just want Dave Stieb on my team.
Yeah, sure, of course.
I want Dave Stieb on my team because there was a window there where you wanted that guy definitely on the mound. He's kind of, because he played in Toronto, kind of forgotten in a lot of ways. But in our era, when you're kids, the guy was so dominant. You definitely wanted that guy on your team. So I'm definitely going to be very happy to have Dave Stieb there, who has how many no-hitters, Mike? 150 no-hitters? Or one-hitters, I mean?
One-hitters.
One-hitters? The one-hitter king, really.
He should have won the Cy Young in 82 and 84.
Yeah.
Like the year Willie Hernandez won as a reliever with the Tigers and won MVP, by the way, which is just...
That's insane.
Terrible. And in 82, Vukovic wins only because he won 20 games and Dave Stieb only won 14 or whatever. But he was clearly the better pitcher. Anyway, he's an all-time great, I think. And if he wins those 2 Cy Youngs he should have won, he's probably in the Hall of Fame.
I would agree. And I had to have 2 good guys now to make up for Schilling. So but I've got a little bonus.
Steve was a salty dude, too.
Well, but now he seems very classy.
He's a frequent customer at a strip joint that I used to work at as a bartender.
See, there you go.
That's my kind of guy.
Now he's for sure on Sandy's team. Frequent strip club.
I believe that guy... Didn't he order up the 5 lateral and 1 trombone at the strip club?
That's right. It's named after him. It's known as the Steve.
The Steve. In Canada, it's known as the Steve.
In the States,
US, 5 laterals and a trombone.
It's the Vukovic.
The Vukovic. Oh, the Vukovic. Yeah. Now, you had an interesting thing about Vukovic. You about the Blue Jays, right?
Oh, yeah. Pete Vukovic, who won the Cy Young 5 years later with the Brewers, got the first save in Toronto Blue Jays history. 1977.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
And then, I don't know what else to say about that, but it's a little
well, he was the
anecdote.
perfect got to be on those Harvey Wallbangers.
Yes.
The 82 Brewers.
Indeed.
No, it was perfect.
No, yeah.
All those guys, mustache, horrible shaggy hair.
Yeah.
Little bit like it looked basically that 82 Brewers team looked like they were going to murder you. The only one it would be like this is I think how it would go. You'd be walking down the street, dark street in Milwaukee, and suddenly all these Brewers come out of nowhere, Vukovic, all these guys, and they're beating the crap out of you. And then all of a sudden, two guys show up. Don Sutton goes, "Hey guys, come on!" Like a gym teacher because he's old. And then Paul Molitor, he looks squeaky clean, goes, "Hey guys, come on!"
Hey guys.
And that's who saves your
He
life.
looks at them with his blue eyes, and they just get hypnotized. And they can't do anything. All right.
Otherwise, you're murdered in Milwaukee.
That's right.
And Murdered in Milwaukee is my new book coming out. It's a mystery. Someone steals the Fonzie statue and then gets murdered.
And it ends up being Don Sutton.
And Don Sutton did it. Yes.
I need a lefty, and we're going to stay with Homer picks. So I'm going to take Jimmy Key.
Nice.
nice.
A highly underrated historical pitcher.
Yeah.
At least 12 wins every year from 85 to 94. Finished second in Cy Young voting in both 87 and 94. He won the ERA title in 87. Won the 96 World Series clinching game for the Yankees. Won 2 World Series, and his career ERA is 3.15, and he's 5-3. I loved Jimmy Key when he pitched for Toronto. He was just like a quiet gentleman, and I want to have all the good-natured people on my team.
Yeah, you're really beating me there.
And what ACC school did Jimmy Key attend?
Not Duke.
Not Duke.
Thank God.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Not Duke.
What school did you go
Not
to?
to.
Clemson.
Oh, Clemson.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Clemson Tigers.
Won 116 games in 9 seasons with the Jays.
Yeah, like he was really, really good.
Yeah.
And I needed a lefty, and so that fits perfectly. Okay, so we got 2 more picks each.
Two more picks. I think are we on the last pick?
No, we got to have 5.
Wow. Wow.
No, 'cause
Okay.
you took your closer.
Oh, I did.
So
That's
did I.
right.
Yeah, that's
absolutely true. You know why I got so excited there, but I'm still glad I got Dave Steeb. Okay.
Yeah.
Go,
Matt.
Matty.
Well, I think I got to get a knuckleballer on this list.
Oh, I know where this is headed.
Phil Niekro.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. All right. Yeah.
He pitched until he was 48 years old,
He did indeed.
and that's the season I'm taking him for. I don't know. I don't know how to pitch that.
That's insane.
Yeah, Hall of Famer. Yeah.
He might have I think he has one of the highest WARs. Like,
Well, yeah, because he always threw 300 innings, and
Yeah.
he was, of course.
Here's a question. What's it like to be Joe Niekro?
Hey, he had
He
a
was
pretty
still
good
really
career
good,
too.
yeah.
Yeah, I know, but you got a
No,
brother's
it's not-
Hall of
yeah.
Famer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know he did. And they both pitched a long time. Now, Joe Niekro, it's funny because when you're a kid of the 80s, you only remember that he cheated.
Yeah.
They probably both cheated.
Yeah,
But
he pulled it.
but the Emery board, he scuffed the ball, got suspended, and you think of like Joe Niekro as like the cheating brother.
was
He had like sandpaper in his pocket.
Joe
Yeah,
also,
like an Emery board.
Yeah.
Was he also a knuckleballer?
No,
Okay.
no, not in my recollection.
I don't think so.
No, but
In
you're right.
that-
Another good player.
Joe Niekro, in 1977, 43 starts. 1978, 42 starts. 1979, 44 starts. 1980, 38 starts.
That's
that
Joe
Joe?
Niekro or Phil?
That's Phil. Sorry,
Okay,
did I
that's
say
Phil Niekro.
That's
Phil Niekro.
Yeah.
And so
And 23 complete games in 1979.
this is like a brother pitcher combo. Like, is there anyone else that even can touch that? Like Perry brothers, Jim and
Yeah,
Gaylord,
yeah, that would be the closest I would.
and they were the same era.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Let's look that up and get back to you on that
Frank's
one.
gonna get on that. I'll get
The Niekros
Our
versus the
research department
Perrys.
is,
It's the Perrys versus the Niekros. Yeah. No. Okay. Over to me. Self intro. You know, this is a guy that is. You know, I got it down to 2.
Okay.
And I just feel like, again, this is going to go in the category. Not a lot of the media likes this guy. I think fans are okay with this guy, but the media didn't love this guy. The Moose, Mike Messina.
yeah.
I'm putting Mike Messina on my team again because if I'm in the playoffs, I'm probably going to want him on the mound. Another guy that you don't want to come out and try to take him out of the game.
No.
But the media doesn't like him, and I think that's really going to hurt him because every time I talk to somebody, they'll just mention like, "Oh, that guy was such a jerk," which I had no idea as a fan.
No, right? Me neither.
And isn't that a crazy stat? The last year of his career is the first time he won 20 games.
Yep.
And then that's how you go out on top.
And didn't he had that incident in the All-Star game in Baltimore too with Cito Gaston, right?
Yes.
Where he was told Cito says he told him ahead of time he wasn't going to pitch.
Yeah.
And late in the game, he went out into the bullpen and started warming up in front of the home fans anyway. And the fans all started to like cheer because Messina was coming in, and Cito was like, "I told you you're not coming." Like he wasn't going to pitch that day.
Yeah.
And so there was like a whole controversy. All the fans in Baltimore hated Cito Gaston, and he was sort of saying, well, his version of it was that he told them ahead of time. But Mussina got up and kind of showboated for the fans anyway. So I don't know.
Another reason to love him.
Yeah, for
Do
sure.
you have him up? I think he had 11 years with at least 15 wins.
Yeah.
Wow.
Are you saying that because you know it?
I wrote it down.
Yeah, I think it's got to be real.
Feels like it's got.
No, you wouldn't write something down if you didn't mean it.
He finished second in 99 Cy Young voting to Pedro in the year where Pedro maybe had the greatest pitching season of all time. So he had bad timing too in that sense.
Yeah. Well, that's a lot of years with the Orioles.
Yep.
But he gets his chance with the Yankees.
Yep.
And then there
I
we
like
go.
the pick.
Yeah, I like the pick too. My second last starting pitcher will be Louis Yount.
Oh, that's cool.
He's a character guy. I love him. He's a great pitcher. Got Cy Young votes in 6 different seasons, or was top 6 in AL Cy Young voting 3 times. Pardon me. Great playoff record. 3-time All-Star. Won 2 ERA titles, and just love him. So he's on my team, and he and Jimmy Key together. I think him and Jimmy Key are going to hang out a lot and get on really well.
So Louis Yount,
Good chemistry in my clubhouse.
Louis Yount, we always know as a Red Sox, but he was great with the Indians too, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's like his numbers are so great. His story is fantastic.
Fantastic.
His family story is
Look
great.
it up, folks.
It's worth it.
Yeah. Okay, last pick.
Here it is, the last round.
Everybody has a lefty?
And Matt's going to get a closer here.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Quiz. Dan Quisenberry.
Oh,
Yeah, okay.
All right.
Submarine style pitcher.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's someone who, the first World Series I ever watched with my dad, was allowed to stay up and watch, was the 80 Phillies Royals.
Yeah.
And you had an interesting fact you found about Quisenberry in the 80
In the
series.
80 World Series, okay, this is truly incredible. Dan Quisenberry faced 43 batters. He appeared in 6 games, faced 43 batters, and did not strike one of them out.
And that's your closer.
That's your closer. He pitched 10 innings, faced 43 batters, did not have a strikeout, and had a 5.2 ERA and lost 2 games. So it wasn't his greatest, he was a great pitcher, but he didn't have a particularly good World Series. But
that year, he led the American League in saves 5 times.
Yeah,
and from 82 to 85, he finished 3rd in Cy Young voting, then 2nd, then 2nd, then 3rd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm just saying, 43 batters in 1 World Series and 0 strikeouts is not. You'll never see that again either.
No,
that's
crazy.
Impossible. Anyway, he's a great pitcher. There's no debate about that.
Quisenberry is a good choice, and he comes up a lot when people just reference 80s baseball.
Yeah.
Everyone loves that. Like they just love the name. I've got it down to 2 guys for my last pick. I've already got my lefty. I've got Jim Cott. I've got an old-timey and then more modern. And if I just think about, again, I'm thinking about myself being in the World Series, and I've got this rotation, and I need somebody to come through for me. I'm going with Kevin Brown.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
I think Kevin Brown is a
Really likable guy too.
likable.
Wait, no,
I really
thinking of
put,
someone else.
I really put together an angry team. My team's just angry.
maybe feisty.
But they're a feisty team, but Jim Cott's going to keep them cool. I just think that if Kevin Brown's on the mound, you've got a chance every time. And he was such a big time playoff pitcher that I got to have him.
I don't want to dispute your playoff claim, but career in the playoffs, 5-5 with a 4.19 ERA.
Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and get Jim Bunning on my team.
I'm sorry, the pick has already been logged in.
Well, Jim Bunning was my backup. I just thought I'd reveal that.
So he can be Jim Bunning's your long man.
I might trade for him halfway through the season.
Brown was sort of quiet in the first part of his career, right? But then
Yeah, but then everybody wanted him for the playoffs, which apparently he wasn't successful in.
No, he was not.
96.
But he got his world. World
Yeah, he
Series.
did. And he got a lot of money.
Yeah, that's the important thing. I want guys with lots of money because Dave Steve's going to the strip club. He can't do it on the on the
for
cheap.
that Blue Jays money, he can't.
No, he can't do it.
I know.
What do you got? Final pick.
My last pick, I realize on my team I don't have a lot of strikeout guys. I don't have a lot of high strikeout guys. So I am going to take, to balance that out, I'm going to take J.R. Richard.
Wow. Astros legend.
Astros legend, retired early at age 30, had a stroke, poor guy, had a really hard time for a long time, but 2 seasons with over 300 strikeouts, top 7 in Cy Young voting 3 times, career 3.15 ERA. He was, and I've heard you'll hear a lot of guys from that era say he was the most intimidating pitcher they ever faced.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like 6'9".
Mm-hmm.
He was a giant man throwing 100 miles an hour, and he and Nolan Ryan were teammates.
Yeah.
For all those years. Like, can you imagine, like, you go into a series and you get Who we got this weekend? Oh, we got Ryan and then
Yeah.
J.R. Richard right after him.
Who could probably very easily plunk you anytime they wanted, obviously.
And for a little while didn't it was like Koufax. It took him a while to figure out where that ball was going.
Control was all over the place. That's interesting.
But I just take that as a kind of like I want an intimidator on my team, and he's my guy.
So our team, our drafted team, we should just review one at a time, I'd say. And we're also going to have that in our show notes at the end. Of course, you can check those out. Okay, so we're going to have Matt Kippen. Who's your team?
Nolan Ryan. My lefty is Chris Sale. I got Garrett Cole, Bert Blyleven, Phil Necro, and my closer is Dan Quisenberry.
Wow, look at that. All right, I have Kurt Schilling, much maligned. Kurt Schilling is in there. My lefty's Jim Cott, so I bounce back with nice people.
Yeah.
I have Dave Steeb, I have Mike Musina, and I have Kevin Brown, and my closer, Trevor Hoffman.
Hoffman balances you out a little bit too.
Yeah, that's
'cause
true.
You got a salty team there.
Salty team.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, I have Juan Marichal. I did not write this down, but I have Juan Marichal, Louis Yount, Don Sutton, Jimmy Key, J.R. Richard, and my closer, Mariano Rivera. There it is. There's one. I don't know if you guys found interesting facts while you were doing some research. I didn't.
But here was one that is just amazing to me. Dean Chance wins the Cy Young in 1964. Dean Chance, okay? But here's the sandwich that he is the meat in, if you will, Matt. In 1963, Sandy Koufax wins the Cy Young, okay? This is when it's just Major League. There's no, like, National American. It's just Major League. So 1963, Sandy Koufax wins the Cy Young with 100% of the votes. He gets all 100%. Dean Chance wins in 1964. Koufax gets, like, a few votes. I think someone Jackson got a few votes. Then in 65, 100% of the votes, Sandy Koufax. 66, 100% of the votes, Sandy Koufax. So it's 100% Sandy Koufax. Dean Chance wins the Cy Young. Yeah. 2 more years of Koufax. And then next year, no Koufax. He retired. He retired after winning his 3rd Cy Young. And that is the numbers and the voting and all that. I've never seen anything like that, where it's just 100% of the votes. There's always some pick. Like, isn't this legendary, like the Yaz 1967 year? Like, one guy didn't vote for Yaz. He voted for like Tony Olivia. Something like that. Right. And there was a guy from Minnesota voted for his own guy. Like, Yaz has a Triple Crown year, and one guy doesn't vote for him because he votes for a guy on his own team and defends it for the rest of his life.
The player who got the vote instead of Yaz that year, Cesar Tovar.
That's it. Cesar Tovar from the Twins.
Twins.
Yeah, the local writer votes for Cesar Tovar, makes an argument for it.
Who hit 6 home runs that year.
Yeah. And then Yaz has that year. So it's like weird not to vote for Koufax, I guess, in those years.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of voting, do you know who I believe the player is who has the most award shares without a win?
Most award shares without a win? No.
We didn't pick him. Wainwright.
Oh, Adam Wainwright. He's on my list.
Yeah, he was on mine too. But I think he has
he's
like
gotten the most votes
without ever
winning. Yeah, he's an interesting guy, isn't he? Like, when he retires, because he's going to pitch again next year.
Yeah.
Is he a Hall of Famer?
He might be. I mean, yeah, why not?
Because to me, like, he's been a really good pitcher.
But not winning a Cy Young hurts every time.
Yeah. And I don't know, you would never say Wainwright was the pitcher of his era or the best pitcher. Clearly, he wasn't the best pitcher of the year ever. Mm-hmm. He was you'd want him on your team, and he seems like a great human being.
Yeah.
Obviously, he just won the Clemente Award.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know if he, like, I don't know if he gets in the Hall of Fame or not.
Hard to say Wainwright a lot.
Wainwright. I can do it with a Bane voice.
Wainwright.
We are jumping away from our podcast studio and into a Zoom call because we have a special guest with us today. We just finished this draft, of course, the No Cy Young draft. We drafted a rotation of 5 pitchers plus a closer. One of the pitchers, the starters, had to be a lefty, and they could not have won a Cy Young. So we thought, let's have a special guest on to completely rip apart our choices or praise us, perhaps, maybe. We didn't tell our guest who picked what team because we didn't want any favoritism, because that we can't have that. And this is my official intro, so get ready. Giving us an analysis and hopefully some severe critical feedback on our choices is someone who received 18% of the NL Cy Young voting share back in 1992. Good enough for third in voting, but not quite good enough to catch 2 future Hall of Famers, runner-up Tom Glavine, and a guy I've heard very little about, Greg Maddux. Yeah. He won this NL Cy Young in 92 with the Cubs. This is the information you need to know about this special guest. Drafted by and starting out his career with the Yankees, he was an all-star in 92, pitching for the Cardinals and also pitched for the Cubs, Rangers, Padres, and Twins. an MLB career that spanned 13 years. He is now working a lot in sports psychology world, having been a sports psychology coach with the Red Sox, Giants, and Cubs. I don't think I missed any teams. Those are the three. Here to bring some sense and judgment to our show is a great guy and friend, Bob Tewksbury. Bob, thank you for joining us.
Well, thank you, Sandy. It's good to see you and meet Mike and Matt. So I'm happy to be here to see what the hell you guys are trying to do here.
Well,
we're looking for guidance, Bob.
Looking for some guidance. Now, full disclosure, Bob and I have known each other for a number of years. That's most of the reason the guy said, "Don't tell him your name, your team, because he will get favoritism." Which I think it would be the opposite. He would probably rip me a lot harder if he knew which team was.
Well, I'll find out which one's yours because these are all horse shit. But it'll be the worst of the horse shit ones.
Thank you, I appreciate that. That is actually how I'm often described.
I'm gonna have to guess which one's yours. I need to think a little bit about that.
Sure.
I'm gonna try to guess which one was yours, Sandy.
We're not going to tell you until you have your chance to have a guess.
While he's judging there, Sandy, can we advocate for our own teams, or no? We should stay neutral until.
Well, we could just right now say to Bob, just as a guess, who do you think is my team? If you guys want to get that out of there, is that kind of that? So then you can start.
I'm gonna say Team 2 is your team.
That's correct.
That's why I do what I do.
Why?
Say sports psychology right there.
Why do you think that's my team? What made you think that, Bob?
Because I thought there's some connection with Trevor Hoffman. He probably was at the rookie development program at some point. And I think you're a Musina fan.
Yeah.
And I don't know, Steve goes way back to Toronto. So, and you're the only person that would be dumb enough to pick Kurt Schilling on your fucking team.
You hit that one on the head there, Bob. Yeah.
Yeah. Very fair. Very fair.
Wait, Matt and I wanted character in the clubhouse, and so Schilling was a no-go for us.
Yeah, no, that's like boo, boo, boo.
It's correct.
Musina should be in the Hall of Fame.
Thank you.
He didn't win a Cy Young Award?
No. He finished second 3 different years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And he finished his last year. It was the first time he won 20 games. Then he retired.
I know. Still
Crazy.
a stud. All right. So what do you want to know, Sandy?
Well,
here I already read your mind.
The big reveal. Well, there you go. Let's just do like a quick breakdown of Team 1, and that was Mike's team. Or no, sorry, Matt's team. Matt was the Team 1. He started off.
And Matt, to be clear too, Matt had first pick.
Yeah,
he did.
Really?
Yeah. That's why Nolan Ryan is on his team.
Okay, I was wondering who had second pick. Who was the second pick in this?
I was draft? Kurt Schilling.
Fuck you. Jesus, of all those people you could have picked,
I know.
You pick a conspiracy theorist. Anyway. We won't go in there. The whole state of Rhode Island's bankrupt because of him.
Yeah, that's correct.
Just to be clear, though, this wasn't like pick the biggest shitheads. It was.
I know it was not
a
personality contest. You said all right. So that, and who would get the third pick?
That was me, and my first pick was Mariano Rivera.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah,
pretty solid. All right, so here's what I got. I spent some time looking at this. Look, I got notes.
Okay. Out of the Matt Kippen files.
Yeah,
I have put some time into this. I still don't have a winner of who the best rotation is. I'd have to probably go with, I was going to go with Team 3, but J.R. Richards, his WAR is 22. Mine was 21. What the fuck? You didn't pick me.
Yeah, but you didn't have a stroke when you were 30, Bob.
Well, that's true. So that's a minor detail, all relative to future. You're talking about future performance. He had a stroke. He didn't pitch past 30.
I picked him because my other 4 guys didn't have a lot of strikeouts, so I wanted to have a guy in there who could come in and throw some real gas. So I admit it was my last pick, but it was kind of a reach. I know.
No, that's he was a stud, no doubt about it. All right, so let's go Team 1. So Nolan Ryan, good pick. 500 pitcher about, but 7 no-hitters, or I don't know, how many, plus 8 that he carried probably until the 9th inning. So he's a solid pick. Innings eater. Chris Sale, I don't know what you were smoking when you picked that guy, but he's got no stamina. He was good maybe when he was 20, 23. Let me see. I wrote it down. Maybe in 2013, but anything in the last 4 years, which you had to look at the last 4 years and you still picked him?
I believe he has the career strikeout to walk ratio. I think he's the career leader with 5.
Well, I'm the career leader in fewest walks per 9 innings pitched, and you didn't pick me.
I know, but Quisenberry's right up there too. I tried to pick somebody.
Quiz. All right, so I'm just giving you my critique.
Absolutely.
Sale, great when he was 23, not so good now. Garrett's solid. 130 wins. His whip's 1-1. But he's got great stuff. I think he was better with Pittsburgh and Houston than he is now. So Burt be home by 11. This guy should have been in the Hall of Fame a long time ago. 287 wins, all-time leader, or one of the leaders in strikeouts. That's a good pick. And Phil Niekro, whom I took his spot in the rotation for the Yankees in 1986.
Oops.
Yes, I did. I was number 75 when I came to spring training that year. He was number 35. I think I got his number, but I took his spot. You want to change up speeds, 318 wins. Good pick. Dan Quisenberry, who I knew, great guy. He actually let me stay at his house one day in spring training, and we lost him way too soon, but solid pick, down under, hard to hit, good choice. So I'm just, you got two guys, Sale and Cole, that I'm thinking maybe you could have picked someone else, but it had to be someone that didn't win the Cy Young Award. So Catfish Hunter maybe comes into play a little bit.
He won one, didn't he?
Won. Yeah, he did. He won.
No,
I thought he won. He didn't win with the A's? I thought he won with the A's.
Did he really? Oh, he might have. Yes.
Yeah, before he went to the Yankees.
So all the guys that I thought you guys were all dumbasses about, I had Smoltz, Maddux, Seaver, Palmer, Morris, Pedro, Koufax, Jenkins, Catfish, Glavine, and Eckersley. But now I know why you didn't have them.
Yeah.
But you didn't have David Wells.
No.
239 wins in a perfect game.
Yeah, and that's lefty you could.
A career ERA of over 4, though, Bob.
Well, he played in the live juice ball era.
He sure did.
He would have been a lefty that, I'm sorry, Chris Sale will not come close to 200 wins. David Wells got a proven track record, big game pitcher. He actually was 10-5 in postseason games.
Yeah.
So he was a winner, big player. So anyway, I think that's my pick with Matt's team.
All right.
Okay.
This is going to be fun.
No, this is not going to be fun. Let me see. There's only 2 people on here. Well, 3. Jim Cott, 283 wins. Took too long to get in the Hall of Fame. If he's in the Hall of Fame, Tommy John should be in the Hall of Fame. 288 wins.
Yep.
He pitched 187 innings when he was 44.
It's crazy.
I played with Tommy John in New York. Yeah. So Jim Cott, solid pick. The Moose, how do you not pick him? He's solid. He should be in the Hall of Fame. Kevin Brown, well, let me go to Trevor Hoffman, a teammate of mine with San Diego.
Yeah.
Mastered the changeup. Great guy, great teammate. So you get 3 solid picks there. And then you get 3 picks that probably wouldn't win any fan voting amongst people. Schilling, Dave Steve was a really good pitcher, but I heard he was a prick. And Kevin Brown certainly was a prick. So you got 3 good ones and 3 pricks. And,
that's it. That was the balance I was looking for, Bob.
And he has a salty team. Yes.
I'd said that right off. I'm going to pick 3 garbage human beings and then 3 great guys to counter that. And I think I successfully did that.
How about, you could have picked Louis Tiant.
Yep.
Well,
Mike got him.
Someone did.
29 wins.
Somebody picked him.
Mike got him.
Team 3 has Tiant.
Yeah, Mike got him.
Yeah.
That's right. I had him. See if I got him. All right. That's a good pick. That's a sentimental pick for me. So, so your win total, let's see what I don't know who had. I think Matt had a higher win total of starting pitchers than Group 2.
Yes.
Yeah, I think we have that broken down somewhere here. Yeah.
But anyway, so I'm thinking right now I kind of like the I do like Team 2 over Team 1 right now. I have to say, just because of Musina, Hoffman, and Cott. So Team 3, is that Mike's team?
Yeah,
that's right.
Marshall, solid. So, you know, it had this great line, Jose Rijo is Marshall's godson. And Rijo married Marshall's daughter. And Rosie was her name. And after they got divorced in spring training, Rijo pitched a game and gave up like 6 runs or something. And the reporter asked him about what it felt like to give up 6 runs. And he said, I only gave up 3. And they said, no, you gave up 6. And he goes, no, Rosie gets half of everything. So he only gave up 3. So Marshall, Don Sutton, allegedly cheated his way to the Hall of Fame, scuffing the ball, allegedly. But 324 wins, and he pitched a long time.
Sure did.
Great curveball, really good pitcher. Jimmy Key, solid lefty. You know, Blue Jay, heartfelt guy, good competitor. I like him. I like Louis Tiant, gamer. You know what? I think Team 3 gets my vote for the best rotation.
Well, okay.
Yes, sir.
And of course, he has the Mariano Rivera as a closer, which is not too shabby in itself. Okay.
What a third pick, too. Third pick.
Yeah. I mean, you know, it's only 3 teams, but okay.
Last pick then.
Yeah, it's not like we had 18 teams, and but
you know, and so I just, this is the caveat to this. You know, Team 2, I am not a fan of shilling in any way, shape, or form. So that was a bias held against you.
Sure.
I'm sorry. I know that wasn't in the criteria, but that's my vote. And so that's why you got 3rd place, Sandy.
Well, what? You just said I was better than Team 1, and then all of a sudden I go down to.
Well, now I'm changing my vote, though.
That's how bad it was. Damn, I think it's because you slept on Quisenberry's couch, so then you decided that's your guy.
I'll take it.
Yeah, that's totally fair. That's totally fair. This is fantastic, Tukes. Thanks for doing this. First of all, you had no reason to say yes other than our friendship.
Well, no. So the other thing, the disclosure, like all these guys are great pitchers, and you know, were better pitchers than I was. So little am I to say to criticize them in that way. But everything being tongue in cheek and having fun.
Yeah.
I think it was fun. It's fun to talk baseball. Not a lot of people talk baseball now, so it's fun to do that.
Well, we love doing it and having you here. And then Tukes, I mean, you are the opposite of a Curt Schilling, let's say, because you're a great human being.
Yeah.
Who wrote this fantastic book.
Oh, you get the book out.
Of course. Yeah, this is a fantastic book all about the sports psychology world, really, Tukes. This is your other side of your life now after baseball. And I'll also point out, get this book, first of all. And I'm putting it on camera, but it's and this is a podcast. So 90% mental, Bob Tewksbury and Scott Miller, an all-star player turned mental skills coach, reveals a hidden game of baseball. Fantastic book. And I also point out your appearance in The Arm. It's fantastic. The story about John Lester and if he's going to sign with the Red Sox or the Cubs, and you're brought up in that story. And that story is a fantastic.
Yeah, I can't recall exactly the context of that, but
well, I can give you a summary. It's basically that the Red Sox said that you were coming back with them, and it was a lie.
Oh, yeah, there was.
That might help John Lester make his decision to go to the Cubs.
I don't know. Les, he's a dear friend, and obviously those guys that helped in the book with Andrew Miller, Rich Hill, who's still pitching, Lester, Anthony Rizzo, they were all so nice to share their stories, and the people. Maddux has some really good things to say in there. It was really fun. Scott Miller co-authored it. He did a great job.
Yeah, well, it's a great book. And one thing I remember too, because it was kind of an interesting thing I tell my friends, is when we do this rookie orientation camp, all the players sit like they're in the UN. They sit with their teams and they all sit around these long tables. Yeah. And we were there in the room when the Padres traded Rizzo to the Cubs.
That's
and
right.
He left the room and came back and sat with the other team and was like, well, I'm with you guys now. And I don't think I ever saw that in the 16 whatever years I did it.
No, he's solid. Now he's a free agent, or did he sign back with the Yankees?
No, he just opted out, I think.
Yeah.
We're gonna try to save some money for Judge. So this has been fantastic, Tukes. I really appreciate you doing this.
Yeah.
And next time we come around to something like this, we'd love to have you back on the show for sure.
Yeah, you'll have to clean up some F-bombs, I think. And those are allowed on podcasts.
Yeah.
They are allowed on podcasts. Yeah.
Fits right in, Bob. Thank you.
Yeah, well, when you start talking guys in baseball, it's hard to get the locker room out of you,
That's okay.
So there's also a book. There's a guy, I was asked to do something. I don't have it with me. It was this guy helped write a biography about Obama, and they asked me to evaluate the best presidential first pitches.
Amazing.
And they asked me to give him mechanical, to critique it. And I thought the best one was Bush at Yankee Stadium in 2000. I mean, he just got up there. They had a rubber put up front. He went to the back 60 feet and threw a strike. But I made reference to Obama looked like the Tin Man in The Wizard of Oz. Everything was kind of just robotic, and he couldn't really do very well. So
not good.
If you can trash a former president, I guess you can trash some other players too. So
you absolutely can. I mean, I would have picked Taft, but that's a good pick too.
Were you there?
I was there. I am a time traveler, as you know.
Well, we have to we're wrapping this up, we have to, because it's November 20th we were celebrating.
Mm-hmm.
And November 20th, 1981, I believe it was, Mike, you ordered your first tapes from Columbia House Records. And of course, they are our sponsors.
They are our sponsors. So I just want to send a shout out to our corporate sponsors from Columbia House. And they wanted me on the podcast to make everybody know that they have a promo going right now. If you mail in your prepaid selection envelope right now, you will receive 11 cassettes of your choice for just 1 penny.
What could go wrong?
Just 1 penny. You heard that right, folks. 11 cassettes of the highest Dolby noise reduction sound quality for just 1 cent. You can choose from the latest releases from Billy Idol, Johnny Hates Jazz, Cinderella, Lisa and Cult Jam, The Power Station, and many others. But you have to act now because this offer will expire November 21st.
1981.
Yes. How did my first promo for our corporate sponsor sound?
It sounded pretty good. I was sort of sad that I couldn't get Taco's newest tape, but I think I'm going to be okay. 81 might have been a little too early.
I'm sure you can get Tacos.
Yeah.
Can we send
After
a penny? Like pennies aren't currency anymore, right? Can we send one?
I believe you can enclose it in the envelope. Yes.
It might have to be an American penny, so you have to track one of those down.
Oh, right. They still got those.
Get a Lincoln.
Yeah.
So we're wrapping up this day in sports, November 20th. Wow, there was a lot going on. You always think of November being kind of a dead zone.
That's
in
kind
sports.
of why I picked it in a way, was because I thought it'd be an easy sort of dip our toe in the water day, but there is still a lot of stuff that happened.
All right.
Not a lot of birthdays.
Not a lot of birthdays.
Some.
People don't, but not a lot of,
We're going to get there. We're going to get some more days coming up, of course, that may have more birthdays, may have some of those events.
Yep.
But we leave you now on November 20th. I know people want to rush off and get their Columbia House order in right away. Get you the first selection of those tapes. I'm Sandy Jobin Bevins.
I'm Matt Kippen.
I'm Mike Shera.
And this has been This Day in Sports.